Hello my loves, welcome to a new video on my channel. This is not going to be very long and it is going to be unstructured. It's currently Tuesday night. I have been sprinting towards the end of reading the Booker Prize long list, and I have just failed at the last hurdle because I need to record this now because tomorrow I am traveling to London and then I am away, and then the shortlist is being announced on Thursday. And I kind of wanted to get in there with my thoughts on the shortlist. So I have read, as of right now, 11 of the 13 books. I DNF'd one, and I am a third of the way through the final one. So I'm in an okay position to give you some thoughts. And I'm going to start with the one that I'm currently reading. I'm not going to be going into tons of detail on my thoughts about the books because I'm filming a vlog where I read the entire long list. That will be out in the next couple of weeks. So that will have the detail. I just wanted to get in here with my thoughts before the shortlist is announced, because what I will say about the long list is that I am somewhat underwhelmed. There are some books that I do really like. But on the whole, I just haven't really felt like a lot of them were that special to be on a prize that is as prestigious as the long list. And so because I've been underwhelmed by the long list, I'm not holding out much hope for the short list. I feel like things I like are not going to make it. I'm not sure how much I trust this judging panel, is what I'm saying. But I am going to start my shortlist prediction with a bold statement. I am this far through Prophet Song from Paul Lynch, and he is going to have to fuck this up so bad for this not to be my favourite book on the long list. I'm obsessed with this book a third of the way through. So this is the first one that I am saying. I believe this is on my shortlist. I believe it's on my shortlist. From everything that I've read, from what other people are saying, he sticks the landing of this book. And so if it continues in the direction that I think it's going in, I think the prose is stunningly beautiful. It's thematically very interesting. It's a sort of very plausible dystopian book set in Ireland, and so far adoring it, loving it so far. So this is the first book for me that is on my shortlist. We'll talk about what I think will actually be on the shortlist in a little while. So that's the first one. I think the second book for me is one that I actually finished about an hour ago, and that was oh my god, I was listening to the audiobook. All the Little Bird Hearts, or just All the Bird Hearts? Oh fuck. Can you tell this is not a well-planned video? By Victoria Lloyd Barlow. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was a really authentic and very nuanced portrayal of neurodiversity. Victoria Lloyd Barlow is a neurodiverse writer, and I think you can tell. It is a book about a woman called Sunday who is neurodiverse. We don't express it. It's not sort of expressed medically at any point, but we suspect she's probably got ASD. But it's told from her perspective, and it's about her relationship with her daughter and how their lives are changed by the arrival of some glamorous new neighbours who sort of slowly start to infiltrate their lives. And it is a sort of quietly tense and foreboding little book. Didn't quite nail the ending for me, but I still really, really liked it. So that is the second book that I would really like to see on the shortlist. The third one I think is definitely going to be on the shortlist, which is The House of Doors by Tan Tuan Eng. I really liked this book. It's a historical fiction. It's following the life of Somerset, well, not the life of Somerset Maugham, a period of Somerset Maugham's life in Malaysia. And I thought it was really well crafted, very engaging story, very deftly told. I don't think it like blew me out of the water, but it was like a solid book. And for me, there have been a lot of books on this long list that have not felt very solid. Some of the books that I'm saying I want to see on the shortlist, I think are not very solid. But you know, I think House of Doors, yes, I would like to see that on there. Another one that I would like to see on the shortlist is Old God's Time by Sebastian Barry. I really enjoyed this sort of brooding, reflective, lyrical sort of book about the legacy of trauma and memory on both a sort of personal level and a national level. Sebastian Barry, very well respected Irish author. I'd be very surprised if this one isn't on the shortlist. I don't think All the Little Bird Hearts is going to be on the shortlist. I'm going to say that now. I want it to be there. I don't know if it's going to be. But I do think Old God's Time is going to be on the shortlist. I think it is doing something that's just a little bit different to how we have seen other Irish stories, particularly, I mean, this long list has got a load of Irish stories on it, but the kind of stories of the Magdalen Laundries, the historic abuses carried out by the Catholic Church in Ireland and beyond Ireland too. You know, we've seen lots of books like that, and I think Old God's Time is doing just enough that's different and has a bit of a point of difference that is probably going to be on the shortlist. And then I don't know, the next book I'm going to say is In Ascension by Martin McInnes. This is not a book that I universally loved, but I think it's going on my shortlist because of the scale of ambition, like the intellectual ambition of this book, I thought was outstandingly high. I don't think it was always successful. I think the philosophical questioning of the book came at the expense of character development for me. But I think this was a really epic and interesting book, and is one of the ones on the long list that really stands out as being very different to the others. There were a lot of, and it has been well documented already, and I will be talking about it in the longer vlog that's up in a couple of weeks about the full long list. But there are a lot of overlapping themes, as there often are on award long lists, and for me, In Ascension makes sense on the long list, but it also is coming at some of those themes in a way that is very different. And for that, I think I would like to see it on the shortlist. And then the final one, there are a few books that I think I liked enough to maybe be on the 6th spot. I enjoyed The Beast Bidding by Paul Murray. I enjoyed, in part, This Other Eden by Paul Harding. But I think my 6th book is going to be Pearl by Sian Hughes. I think this is one of the ones that I read it. It was one of the first books that I read on the long list. Actually, In Ascension and Pearl were like, I listened to both of them quite early doors because they were both on Scribd. And I really liked Pearl. Pearl is another book, one of many books on the long list that is dealing with coming to terms with an absent parent. The main character, her mother disappears when she is very young, and she is sort of telling herself the story of her life and the legacy of her mother's disappearance, and how that has kind of shaped her life. Again, this is another one that it wasn't a perfect book, but for me it was one of the more enjoyable reads. And I think by this point, when I get to like 6 out of 13, unfortunately for me this year, it's sort of the 5th and 6th slots are kind of filled by the books that I had the least problem with, or not even problem with, but like the ones that ticked the most boxes. I could quite happily have a short list of 4 books for this particular long list and not really feel like I was leaving out any favorites. Yeah. So that's where I'm at with it. In terms of what I think the judges will pick, as I said, I think we will see Prophet Song on there. Partly just because it seems like lots of people are really enjoying it, and like I said, I am loving it so far, and I really hope I enjoy it as much as I think I'm going to. I do think I will finish reading it before the long list announcement comes out. I just wouldn't have had time to film this after it. So yeah, I do think Prophet Song will be there. I think The House of Doors will be there. I think that Old God's Time will be there. I think This Other Eden might be on there. I think In Ascension will be on there. I wonder about A Study for Obedience. This is the one that I DNF'd. And I really didn't get on with it, although I could see what it was trying to do. And it was trying to do something a bit like In Ascension that felt very different to a number of the other books on the long list. And for that reason, I think it may end up on the shortlist because of that point of difference, but also it feels to me like maybe that was one of the books that possibly one judge really campaigned for in the deliberations, and then maybe everyone else was kind of lukewarm on it, and that one just ended up coming through in the negotiations. I can't tell, but I think that might be on there. And I was a little bit underwhelmed by the Ayobami Adebayo, but I do think lots of people have really liked that too, although possibly not as much as her debut, but I haven't read her debut, so that might be worth bearing in mind. I've just finished How to Build a Bow. I don't know what this book was doing on the long list, to be honest. Even with Study for Obedience, even though I DNF'd that, I can sort of see why that's on the long list more than this book. I didn't. If you found the magic in this book, please tell me what it was, because I wish I'd DNF'd this and then maybe I would have finished Prophet Song. But hey, I don't have much time to carry on whittering on at you. If you have been reading along with the Book of Praise long list, please let me know your thoughts on what you think is going to be on the shortlist down below, or even if you haven't, why not just judge the covers? Just judge the covers and tell me your top 6 in the comments down below, or what you think the judges might pick, because I know for a lot of us that is often not the same thing. So yeah, so those are my 6. We've got Prophet Song, probably, though I haven't finished it, The House of Doors, In Ascension, Pearl, All the Little Bird Hearts, and Old God's Time, said in completely the opposite order to how I said them earlier, but I will have a full ranking for you with full thoughts in the vlog that is coming in the future at some point. But for now, tatty bye, and I will see you later.